I'm always amazed when people tell me they've done everything possible to scale Google Ads, and then I actually look inside their account and I can see there's so much opportunity still left on the table. So if you want inspiration on how you could scale Google Ads, if you're watching this and you're interested in lead generation predominantly, and you really want to focus on scaling Google search, then this video is for you. And I'm going to share with you 42 ways that you can do it that we have learned from spending over $30 million in Google ad spend for our clients. If you're new to the channel, I'm Silvio Perez. I am the founder of AdConversion. We teach 8,000 plus B2B marketers how to master ads, and we manage over $3 million a month in ad spend for top B2B SaaS brands. So to kick us off, we're going to focus on the basics, and then we're going to move into the more advanced stuff. And by the basics, what I mean specifically is we're going to cover 7 campaign themes. These are the tried and true best winners that we have personally tested and others have tested as well. It's kind of like the industry best practice, if you will, where we're going to focus on these 7 campaign themes. And then outside of these 7 campaign themes, we're going to then go into the advanced section where now that you have a proven winner, aka a proven campaign theme, now I'm going to show you 6 ways that you can scale each individual campaign theme out further. So if you take 7, you multiply by 6, you get 42. So that's 42 combinations of how you could potentially scale your Google search ads. Okay, the first one is non-brand. So non-brand campaigns, this is the core bread and butter. You know, when people think Google ads, they think non-brand. Whether they've made the association to this word or not, this is what they're thinking about. And essentially, it is about bidding on generic, high-intent, solution-related keywords. So for us, we work in the SaaS industry and B2B. So, you know, we work with SaaS all the time. So like most of the examples we use will be from a SaaS perspective. But if you're watching this and you're a small business, you're in e-commerce, just choose the keyword that makes sense for you. So for us, that would look something like keyword plus platform, keyword plus solution, keyword plus tools. So for instance, we launched our new ad automation software recently called Sammy, and it's an ad automation tool. So for us, if we wanted to bid on Google search ads using non-brand, we might do ad automation platform or ad automation solution or ad automation tools, or we could even get a little bit more specific because Sammy's integrated with Google, LinkedIn, Meta, and YouTube. So we could create one campaign for each type of theme. So I could create a Meta campaign, a LinkedIn campaign, a Google campaign, a YouTube campaign, and then I could bid on these different keywords. So I could have Meta ads, automation platform, right? Or Meta ads, automation solution, et cetera, et cetera. You get the point. If you're watching this and you're a small business, maybe for you that means something like local plumbing near me, right? Or best chiropractor near me, or, you know, highest rated X, you know, those essentially solution oriented keywords for you and your business to try to show up to the top and, you know, make sure you get in front of the people that matter. The second one is competitive. This is all about bidding on your competitor's brand name and trying to really just tap into their existing brand awareness. And what you're really trying to do is you are just trying to go on offense, right? If you decide to do competitive bidding, this is like basically like drawing a stake in the ground and like telling your competitors that you acknowledge them and that you are trying to outcompete them, basically. Because what you're doing is you're bidding on their specific brand name, and then you are trying to show up for specific types of search terms where you could have the opportunity to potentially take customers from them and dissuade them to go with that brand and potentially go with you. And this actually works, which is remarkable. It doesn't work as well as non-brand in terms of like a quality score perspective, but the quality of the leads that come from competitive can usually be pretty good, especially when you're in a niche category, because the people who are searching for your competitor, they've already been educated. They already have so much, you know, understanding on the problems that they're trying to solve, and they're looking for your competitor, which is also a niche solution. So you can tap into that brand awareness the competitor already built up. So what this looks like in practice is this would be like competitor name alternatives, cancel competitor name versus your name. So for instance, you know, maybe it would be OpenAI alternatives or cancel ChatGPT or ChatGPT versus Claude, you know, as an instance. So you could use this as a way to really tap into your competitor's brand awareness. The next one is brand campaigns, and brand campaigns are the exact opposite of competitive campaigns. So in competitive, you're playing offense. In brand, you're playing defense. So now what you're doing is you're doing the reverse. You're trying to bid on your own brand name to protect yourself from your competitors that are bidding against you. So this is literally just bidding on your name or your name reviews or your name pricing, different alternatives. So for us, for example, that could be AdConversion reviews, or Sammy reviews. You get the gist. The next one is RLSA. RLSA stands for Remarketing List for Search Ads. It's basically just search remarketing. And this is only bidding on those non-brand keywords, but only showing up for people that already been to your website. So for example, let's pretend you play in the CRM space. If you play in the CRM space, it's really expensive. And if you're bidding on the keyword CRM platform or CRM solution or CRM tools, it can cost like $80 a click, $90 a click. It's pretty ridiculous. So instead of just paying for the first touch of that prospect or that user, meaning they're going and they're searching CRM platform and they've never been to your website, so it's their first touch with you that we know of. Instead, you only pay that premium cost per click of CRM platform or whatever it might be if they've already been to your website, aka meaning they found you some way, shape, or form from other sources of traffic. This could be a really great way for you to cut off some costs and also try to only pay that premium cost per click for an intent more likely to, I use intent loosely here, but it's like a more qualified click, if you will. Now, the downside with search remarketing is search volume and audience size. So depending on how many people are visiting your website, in addition to the volume of the keyword, this campaign theme may or may not make sense for you. Number 5 is DSA. This stands for Dynamic Search Ads. And this is all about letting Google automatically create ads and bid on keywords based on the index of your website. So in practice, what this looks like is you give Google a URL. It could be your root domain. So in our case, adconversion.com or sammy.bot, or you can give them a specific page if you want to drive a little bit more intentionality with the DSA. So I could say, okay, only my adconversion.com Google Ads courses page as an example. And then what Google is going to do is Google is going to automatically generate ad copy for you. They're going to automatically find keywords for you. And this is a really cool campaign when you're trying to find new keywords that you may not be thinking about. And what DSA does is it allows you to just cast a wider net because you're really leaning into Google's algorithm. And Google will try to bid for all the things that they think is semantically related to the context of your website. And it could be really powerful to find keywords that you may not have considered. So you could see those search terms that are converting. And if they're working well for you, then you could potentially exclude them from your DSA campaign and then put them into your non-brand campaign to make sure you're showing up for those things more often. The 6th is industry campaigns. Industry campaigns are basically just bidding on the high intent industry related keyword. This typically has far less volume, but it's extremely high quality. So for instance, this would be, using our CRM example, CRM platform for e-commerce, right? Or CRM platform for agencies. Basically what you're doing is you're just adding in that industry modifier so that you now have the ability to get a little bit more specific. However, again, downside with this is volume, depending on the root keyword that you're bidding on, plus the industry modifier, you're going to be limiting your reach. But the way I think about industry is like, if somebody does search that thing, I want to make sure I show up because the chances of them converting into a meeting or an opportunity or to a paid user, if you're product led, is going to be dramatically higher. The 7th type of campaign theme is content campaigns. This is something most people don't really think about with search because we're all hyper obsessed on the capture stage and trying to drive meetings and trials and all these things, but we don't realize that like the 3% of the market in that capture phase, it's a bloodbath, right? Like non-brand, competitive, all of these types of campaign themes are really expensive. And depending on how competitive your industry is, you'll find that out really fast. So content campaigns can be really cool because they allow you to get in front of people much earlier on in their user journey. I was about to say search journey, but it's really user journey. Search is just one touch point. And what we're doing here is we're bidding on relevant educational related keywords to reach people earlier on. So now instead of bidding on, let's say for the academy, instead of bidding on Google Ads course, I could bid on the keyword how to do Google Ads or how to run Google Ads or when should you invest in Google Ads. These are content informational related queries where if I can get in front of that person much earlier on, drive them to some very valuable content that positions myself as a solution. Now, fast forward when they're in market, the chances of them going forward with us are much higher. This is also great too when you're an earlier website and your SEO isn't very strong. You could also use this to support your SEO team and cover the keywords that they're interested in. Now that you're clear on these 7 different campaign themes, I want to now go into 6 ways you could scale each theme out individually. So for example, let's say you're like, wow, I'm really crushing it with non-brand campaigns, right? Let's pretend I've got meta ads automation, that non-brand campaign for Sammy, and it's crushing it. Now I'm like, wow, I want to really maximize and scale this theme of campaign, this meta ads automation campaign. Think about these 6 ways now of like how you could take it even further. And I just want to like quickly touch on here. Notice how we haven't even got into how you can scale each theme out individually. So if you just think about your Google ad account, if you're like most folks, like chances are you've got some brand, you've got a few non-brand, and you've got a few competitive, and that's it. And you haven't even touched on all of those themes that we talked about. So there's so much opportunity to be had in terms of just scaling horizontally via the campaign themes. And now I'm going to show you how to scale vertically through these different versions individually. So the first one is localization keywords. This is where you're bidding on the same converting keyword in a different language. So for instance, if I was bidding on the keyword Google Ads course, now I could do a Spanish alteration, a German, French, Italian, you get it, the list goes on. Each language could be its own campaign for that proven theme. And now I'm just trying a localized version of it. This is really powerful because 1, you could tap into a dramatically lower cost per click. English is definitely the most expensive language in terms of competition. Most people are advertising in English, so it comes at a premium. On the downside though, is because it's the most popular and more people often search it, that also means when you go to these other languages, you're not going to have as much volume, but it's still enough to make sense. And you can do some research using the keyword planner to see for yourself. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to take that proven keyword that's working. So if we use my meta ads automation example, now I could do the same thing, but in Spanish, in German, in French, in Italian, etc. So localized keywords. The second one is international expansion. This is what we find ourselves doing a lot when we work with big brands and they come to us and they're investing, 7 figures in Google ads and they really want to make pipeline happen. This is usually where we're seeing a lot of the wins. It's not in terms of just, trying different variations of non-brand. For the most part, when you're a mature account, like you've already figured out your mix of keywords that work for you. And now it's really just about like trying to drive as much juice as possible from the set of keywords you've already proven. So this is where international expansion is really powerful. So now what we could do is we can bid on the same converting keywords in a different country or region. It just opens up a whole other pocket of users that you were not serving before. The third is exact match. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that keyword set. So we're talking about non-brand. We're going to first start it as exact match. And what we want to do is we want Google to only show up for searches that closely mean the meaning of our keyword. So exact match is it's the highest quality of all 3 match types. So if we can't get exact match to work, the chances of us getting phrase match, broad match to work are dramatically lower. So what we're doing is we're going to bid on that non-brand keyword in this example of exact match, prove it works, and then we'll move on to phrase match. And in phrase match, this is now where we get a little bit looser, a little bit broader. And now we let Google show up for things that are similar to our keywords versus the meaning of our keywords. We build our negative keyword up list further. We audit our search terms on a weekly basis. And then finally, once we have phrase match working, we can move on to industry. And industry is also a way of scaling in addition to a theme. So with industry, now this is again when we're bidding on the high intent industry related versions of our keywords. So for instance, I've got phrase match working really well for Google Ads course plus exact match. Now I could even try doing some industry alternatives to vertically scale further. So I could say, Google Ads for SaaS, Google Ads for B2B, Google Ads for SMB, Google Ads for e-commerce, etc. This is all variations of industry. And then for the 6th one, we have full discovery. So this is where we just let Google go crazy. We go broad match with our keywords and we say, Google, show up for whoever you think is remotely related, and Google will let in the floodgates and show up for all kinds of different things. So with these 6 different campaign themes, plus those 7 campaign themes, plus these 6 scaling variations, we have a minimum of 42 campaigns. Now imagine you have multiple campaigns by campaign theme, right? We're assuming you have 1 campaign. Imagine you have multiple, like this number will scale exponentially. So think about yourself, your Google Ad account, and hopefully this video gives you a light bulb of like all the things you could be doing that you potentially haven't done. So when you decide to move forward from paid search, you're like, okay, we really have checked all the boxes, and now it's time to try something else. And we haven't even talked about scaling outside of paid search, which is a whole other, massive opportunity for you in terms of running ads on YouTube, display, demand gen, which is all part of the Google Ads ecosystem. Like, it is the biggest ecosystem. So this is all a world of opportunity to be had inside your Google Ad account. That could definitely be a post for another day. So if you'd like me to touch on those types of things, I have a few videos on this channel already covering those different types of campaigns. But if you want more, just let me know. I hope this video was valuable. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and it really helps us grow as a small channel. Subscribe so you can be notified of future videos. And when you're ready, come check us out here at AdConversion.com. You will get access to all of our existing courses and future courses, so you can learn things like Google Ads, Reddit ads, LinkedIn ads, and more. You can sign up for free. Our vision and mission is to try to build the go-to place to learn how to run B2B ads. So if you love this video, you'll definitely love our courses. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one.